The original tweet is saying, hey, workers of America, we need to rise up together and recognize that petty racial infighting is not the way to solve our problems. We need to work together against the collective institutions that oppress us. Why are we racializing this?
It's so rich hearing Vosh say the words, why are we racialized?
Like, why aren't white people doing enough? Why not use positive language that includes people? White people have a power that black people don't.
Because you don't need to coddle people.
Oh, see, now we're getting to it. Using inclusionary language is coddling. We need to know. We need to be appealing to them as much as possible. We should be having bake sales to get these f***ers in our doors.
Hey, Vosh is just such a pragmatist in this clip. It's hilarious.
This final mask-off conversation I'll show you is of Ian talking to Andrewism. It is rich in examples of being out of touch and struggling with allyship 101s.
The problem is, the language that I used was inclusionary, and the language that she used was exclusionary, which is the reason why I was critical. My message wasn't...
Exclusionary in what way?
So she literally says, do not talk to me about police, white people, until you've done X. I can't imagine...
She said, please don't speak to me about police in the context of what the guy said. She was speaking directly to somebody. She had quote-tweeted somebody. So the please don't speak to me about police is specific to that tweet. But the first sentence, why white leftists more eager to unify with racialized communities than organize your own people first. Second sentence, unity with black people is meaningless as long as the masses of white people are indoctrinated into white supremacy and liberalism. Now, in the original stream, you had taken issue with the phrase, your own people. Do you still have issue with that phrase?
Yeah. Why are we racializing this?
Because you can't ignore race in America of all places.
No, if you have a problem with a take, you don't...
It's so rich hearing Vosh say the words, why are we racialized?
Yeah.
It's just, oh my God. You've made this bed, bread tubers, and now I want you to just smother yourself. Smother yourself in crackers and roll around in that bread, okay?
Yeah. Don't, you've had white fragility on your Amazon wish list for years now.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't get all fragile on us here.
Mm-hmm. When they were all defending BLM rioters, and they were all, attacking Kyle Rittenhouse, they were totally fine leveraging these arguments. But now that their weapons are trained against them, they're like, uh-oh, wait a minute. Why can't we be colorblind liberals, everybody?
What is this liberalism? White people are indoctrinated into white supremacy and liberalism. Why are they throwing liberalism under the bus? Liberalism is just individual rights. I thought they liked that.
Let's see. What does the tweet say? Someone says, we're talking to this person, no name. I don't know who this person is. That's the person who's talking right now.
Revolution requires unity.
I can acknowledge your struggle without claiming it as my own. I can educate myself and speak truth to others. I learned so much from you. The capitalist police state is our common enemy. I know it's different, but let us help, please. Okay, so we have some lefty simpery happening. Mm-hmm. And then no name response is saying, why are white leftists more eager to unify with radicalized communities than organizing your own people first? Unity with black people is meaningless as long as the masses of white people are indoctrinated into white supremacy and liberalism.
They're basically saying, look, leftists, white leftists, go away. We don't want you, whitey. You go be white leftists over there.
Listen, CRT is not anti-liberal. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's why. Of course it is. Look at this.
I don't know. So this person apparently doesn't exist on Twitter anymore. So I don't know what's happening here, but
I guess if you're in a situation where you're at the bottom of the economic distribution,
yeah,
because you like to smoke weed and surf all day, and so you don't have any economic interests, of course you want to, like, secure property rights are standing in the way of you gaining some economic success, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
It seems fascist to me.
Don't need to say, why are these white people giving a bad take? You don't need to say white people aren't doing enough. If you have an issue with a
They're
take,
pointing out a general trend in the organization patterns
that's right. That's
or
essentializing.
lack of organizing patterns. It's not
Okay.
essentializing so
Then
far.
why did black people overwhelmingly vote for Biden instead of Bernie? Maybe you guys need to do more radicalization within your own community first? How much is X or Y doing? Like, why aren't white people doing enough? Why not
Did he just say too many black people voted for Biden? That's pretty funny.
overwhelmingly vote for Biden instead of Bernie? Maybe you guys need to do more radicalization within your own community.
he's telling the guy, listen, he's like, listen, you
That's
fucked
funny.
up. You're black, and all your black friends voted for Biden
Instead of Bernie Sanders.
instead of the socialist candidate.
That's so funny. Holy crap. That's a hilarious argument, though.
You know what that tells me? Black people are moderate.
There you go. There
They
you
voted
go.
for the moderate. They did.
I mean, that's a good point.
it is a
Wow.
great point, isn't it?
That's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
good point. 1 point for Vosh there. That's hilarious. Oh my God.
Community first? How much is X or Y doing? Like, why aren't white people doing enough? Why not use positive language that includes people? White people have a power that black people don't. They
Because
have
you
the power
don't
of
need to
privilege.
coddle people.
Oh, see, now we're getting to it. Using inclusionary language is coddling, anti-revolutionary rhetoric. This is counter-revolutionary from No Name. The original tweet is saying, hey, workers of America, we need to rise up together and recognize that petty racial infighting is not the way to solve our problems. We need to work together against the collective institutions that oppress us.
You have a weird way of perceiving these sort of things, but let me scale back.
So Vosh, if he knew about CRT the way he claimed that he did, he knows that what he just said, that black leftist CRT revolutionaries would never agree with it, because they literally view from a CRT perspective that white people and black people can never actually unify,
Yep.
that will never live in a color, because from a class reductionist perspective, a class reductionist perspective is buying into the idea of colorblindness, that everyone can unify regardless of their color along their class lines.
That's
And
the
CRT
liberalism. That's why I pointed it out.
Right. Well, I mean, the whole class, believing that the class element of it is not liberalism, but the colorblind element is liberalism.
Yeah.
And so that idea is completely contradicting the CRT idea, because they believe that's impossible. White people and black people can never actually unify. White people will always look at black people as like an other, an outgroup to basically use cynically.
Yep.
And that because they believe in like race conflict theory, that just nothing but conflicts for resources, that white people and non-white people are basically engaged in this struggle. So they'll basically, in their view, if black leftists went along with Vosh and became class reductionists, essentially the CRT view would be the leftists would be using the energy of the black people to create a revolution. They overthrow liberalism, they replace it with socialism, but it's going to be white socialism. It's going to have all the same problems against black people, because white people just can't help but be racist against black people on some deep level.
That is the central core idea of CRT, and
Yes.
he doesn't know it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a cognitive dissonance of CRT right there. He doesn't seem to realize it.
No.
CRT is just civil rights. It's just
teaching
black history.
Yeah. Teaching history.
Yeah.
Back a bit.
If you were a
and provide
random
some
white
context.
kid and you saw this tweet, like you realize
We're not talking about random white kids, Fosh.
random white kids are
probably
future
cannot be unfit.
revolutionaries. White Boy Summer is a revolutionary's haven, okay? We need those random white kids. And they see a tweet
All right,
like
Chet
this,
Hanks.
and what do they think? How can you recruit new
So-
people if you don't care what normies think about our movement? How can we recruit
Okay.
new people if we don't care about what randoms think about our messaging? We need to know. We need to be
Yeah.
appealing to them as much as possible. We should be having bake sales to get these fuckers in our doors.
Vosh is just such a pragmatist in this clip. It's hilarious.
Well, because this
Yeah.
is, again, his consequentialism is peaking up again. As I said, all he wants is the socialist revolution. He doesn't really care how we get there.
Right. It's like, come on, we can recruit Can't we just all get along and
Can we
hate
get our
on
socialist-
conservatives?
Can we get rid of all the conservatives and have our socialist revolution first, and then we'll deal with all your little race issues?
If I could, I think the Vosh unconscious mind here is really saying, wait a second, racism is a tool we use on them. Why are you turning it on us?
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
That's our tool for the bad guys. And you're shooting up inside the tent here.
There are people who are going to say that I'm tone policing, but that it's okay to tone police massive public figures when they're giving political messaging. That's an okay time to tone police, actually. Optics is very important when it comes to bringing over new people. I don't think we're ever going to agree on that. And even if they never fully unlearn it, and
So in one of the tweets that they scroll by, it said, you got to keep woke out of your mouth. Whenever someone says you got to keep something out of your mouth, don't you want to just immediately slap them in the face?
Yeah,
You keep that out of your mouth. Gah! Shut the fuck up. Don't tell me to keep it in my mouth. It's America, damn it. I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
God, terrible. Like when Will Smith slap punched Chris Rock. Keep her name out of your mouth. Jeez.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
God.
Oh, that was so epic.
That was epic.
The internet just completely lost it.
It's funny. Someone brought up that happened. We were in middle streaming when that happened.
I remember. We brought it up. We kept bringing it up.
Yeah, and when we first, or at least when I first heard, when someone said it happened, I'm like, you're just fucking with me. That didn't actually happen.
I know.
You're lying. Stop screwing with me. That didn't happen. What are you talking about?
Yep. It's out there.
Yep.
You can listen to our cognitive dissonance.
I don't remember what was going on at the time. But yeah, then we looked up and I said, oh my God, it actually happened.
Sitch and I both lived in a world where something like that was impossible.
Yep.
And then reality came and slapped us in the face.
Yes, true. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
there's still like a little bit. What would you rather have? A slightly racist white kid who wants a proletarian revolution, or a slightly racist white kid with a Back the Blue sticker on the back of his fucking Ford Focus, you know? I know that I would rather have them on the left. And maybe they're irritating and other black people on the online left don't want to be around them. That's cool. They don't have to. It's not a social club. They can stay in some other portion of the left where people are more tolerant of that type of behavior. You know?
And who do you think is going to create that path? Who do you think should create that path? Who do you think should be putting in that difficult work to build that path?
Well, I do it better than pretty much anyone else, I think. So I'd say me. Yeah, I think other white people can use their privilege to try to access those communities.
Which is No Name's point.
No Name was basically telling white people to sweep their own porch before coming to pick apart black people's advocacy. Being that white Americans have yet to tangibly reckon.
Wait, that wasn't even that's a total straw man. That wasn't even the thing you're talking about. There was No Name's position was that white people couldn't talk about certain issues at all. At all. That was what the conversation was about. And if your job is a political streamer where you have to talk about political issues and current events, you can't tell a bunch of political streamers they can't talk about whatever the current thing is that everyone's talking about.
Right. Makes it hard to recruit.
Yeah.
With their whiteness. They still at large are struggling to push anti-racist efforts within their own spaces. People's advocacy. Being that white Americans have yet to tangibly reckon with their whiteness. They still at large are struggling to push anti-racist efforts within their own spaces. It took an entire hour for Ian to finally understand the No Name tweet, only to gaslight his way out of reflecting, purposely refusing to understand since his whole argument he relied on would crumble, placing more importance in personally feeling right than truly understanding what Andrewism and No Name are conveying. The idea that black people have to tone police our intersectional leftist spaces, for some likely still racist white boys to feel welcome, is quite literally counterproductive. The only people that need to be doing bake sales and going door to door are other white people. The Black Panther Party and MLK were largely unpopular, yet they made so much progress. Progress that was made with—
So, I hate this. And we gotta bring this up next time we talk to, what were we saying?
You go ahead.
The next time that we talk to FD Signifier, because he said the same thing. There's like this weird gaslight.
Yeah.
They say MLK was a massively unpopular person in America. It was only after his death that he became popular. This is completely factually not true. And I remember because I looked it up because I forget someone was making the same point. When MLK was actually had the majority support in America for most of his career as a civil rights advocate. The only time I think he dropped below 50% briefly was like literally the last year of his life when he came out against the Vietnam War, before it was popular to come out against the Vietnam War. That's the only time he was below 50% favorability in America. So this idea that he was just like this wildly unpopular rebel is just, it's complete BS.
I look up MLK and there's all these pictures of him in front of like tens of thousands of people.
I know.
I don't know, is crowd size meaningless, or is it, are they saying that it's all black people? I mean, I see a lot of white faces in this crowd here.
Right. And they all do it. They always bring up, like, there's like one poll that showed him unfavorable when he came out against the
Vietnam War, yeah.
Right. But if you look at the older polls, it was positive. So just like, okay.
Yeah. He seems like he's like a left-wing rock star.
Yep.
What's going on here? Why are they rewriting history?
Because they want to recast MLK as like a radical revolutionary figure. And they want to recast it like, oh, America hated him because they're all a bunch of racists.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure people in the South weren't too happy about it, but
wouldn't they be better off saying that he was very popular and a radical figure? Because then radicalism is popular deep down.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends what the message is you're trying to push for, right?
Yeah.
So.
Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.